Hi, everyone. I know
There's actually 45 poems in it.
Oh, wow.
I thought there was only 44, but there's 45. I miscounted.
Hi, Jamie, and yeah,
50
Spandy.
pages.
I'm just
44.
gonna go Spandy because I don't know how to do that one.
I was so excited.
I
It wasn't
bet.
hard, really. Like, it just
Bite
took a while.
me.
The
Just
whole
bite
process
me.
was just like, what the heck?
Bite me. It took me 3 weeks going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth.
Crazy.
And you're a well conditioned word processor user, right?
Who, me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
What I didn't know was that I couldn't put sacredstorylines.com anywhere in my book
Oh.
because that's free advertising. So it kept telling me there's stuff that's wrong. So I'd go in and I'd look and I'd fine tooth comb it. And there was, my ands were all in the right places. There weren't too many thes, but had an apostrophe behind it or not a comma. I mean, I checked all the stuff and sent it back through. And 3 days later, nope, it still has, something wrong. Doesn't tell you what. There's this big long spiel it gives you. I finally, out of desperation, asked Chat, said, here's the message I'm getting. What could I possibly be missing? And it said, did you include your website anywhere in there? And I said, well, yeah. And it said, yeah, you can't.
Interesting.
So I took out the website and went through then.
Wow.
But by this time now, it has been like 3 weeks of going back in and rereading and checking everything. And yeah, that was spelled right. I just didn't know I couldn't have that in there.
Lovely, lovely, lovely.
Yeah. So if you put anything about where people could find you, it may not go through. Just to let you know before you get the big, wild, rotten email.
Is it a full moon yet?
Yes, I think it has been and is leaving.
Because it's been crazy here the past few days.
Oh yeah, full moon.
Just nutty. March 3rd. So we're after the third full moon.
Yeah.
Yeah, just a bit.
Oh, well.
I figure that's why we had the tornadoes too, because that's about what happens. We get a full moon, we get storms and tornadoes. And
The worm blood moon.
another one?
No, that was what this was.
Oh.
Was the worm blood moon.
Yeah, because Jason went out and got pictures of the blood moon.
Yeah, I did.
Yep. Monday or Tuesday, whatever.
WORM, like wormy.
Uh-huh. Oh, this is better. Hi, Rouser.
Yeah, granddaughter decided to help and close up the chickens, and there were chickens under the chicken house when she did it. And I go out when it's well after dark and the chickens should be in. And I thought chickens kind of like standing around on the ramp into the chicken house. Now what do we do?
Right.
And then when I open up the chicken house, I realized there's a chicken that's just completely bedded down under there going, well, this is where we're sleeping tonight. Get out of there.
Right.
Now comes my biggest hen. I'm like, my goodness, it's amazing to even fit under there. she's a Brahma hen. I mean, she's like a 20-pound chicken. Yeah, she's a turkey-sized chicken.
A turkey-sized chicken. All right.
That's a
small
good sized
turkey.
chicken.
Well, yeah. Have you ever seen the videos of the chickens that are like the size of a doghouse, pretty much, and they like come out? There's obviously like a 3.5 foot tall chicken.
All right.
Well,
Nobody's
you're
nobody.
right.
Brahma roosters.
Oh,
Brahmas are the
wow.
largest chickens in the world. They're humongous chickens. Another really big one is the Jersey Giant. They're pretty big, though. I was surprised when I actually saw them at the fair. They weren't much bigger than my black Australorps, and black Australorps come in a little bit under them. Now my
You
buff
know, if you
Orpingtons were
expect
big.
me to understand Greek and Latin, you have to say them slow enough for my brain to process.
Black Australorp. A black Australorp is an Orpington that's all black that was bred in Australia.
Are we like
So,
Orpington, Orpington?
yes, Orpingtons.
Okay.
And your
My
buff
brain was
Orpingtons,
not prepared to handle that word when you spit it out there the first time.
Orpington was too much for you.
It was. It was so unexpected. It was like, what the hell did she just say? What is that? What letters are in that word? Is that English?
Yes, Orpington is very English sounding to me. I mean, it's got the ing in it and everything. Come on, it's got to
Right.
be.
Well, I wasn't sure because I wasn't. It just stopped my brain up thinking, how many letters are that? Are they English letters? Is she speaking Russian? What is that?
What was that word the other day that we found that was so cool that had like only like 2 letters per syllable? Oh shoot, what was that word we found the other day?
Was I part of that?
I think it was on here. It was a word we found somewhere, and it was just the craziest word.
Huh.
So today there was a lot of granddaughter time, and her birthday is
Oh,
the end of the
lucky
month.
you.
So she found a cat in a book. Ah, that sucks, Rouser. I'm sorry.
Oh, sorry, Roser. That does suck.
So I was working on a cat from this book, and the book has the tweet iguana that I did that you guys think might look a little bit like a dinosaur.
Mhm.
And I started doing I did the cat's body. I don't like it that much, but it's not terrible.
Okay.
But I got to the head and I followed the instructions for the head, and I got to the point where I was finally starting to curve down, and they made the head the same size around as the whole body.
Hmm.
And I'm looking at it going, that head's too big.
Right.
That head is too big. I do not like how big that head is. And so I tore it back some. I hoped I took a few rounds off of it, started building up from there. I still don't like how flat it is. Looking at it going, that head is too flat. That head is too flat. I think that this is supposed to be the top of the head, which makes it even worse. So now I'm looking at whether or not I want to redo the whole head. You know, it's like, because it's just it's not right, and it's making me cranky. And I have until the 29th, so haha. I've got time to mess with this.
Right.
Uh-oh, I just stepped on something. So here's the body.
Yes.
It's gonna be a big kitty.
Okay. Yeah.
Right.
Here's the head.
Wow.
Holy moly.
Yeah,
Right.
it's like this.
I would not want to be the mama cat that gave birth to that.
Right.
That is just gonna look ridiculous. So I'm gonna tear it all apart tomorrow, I guess, and make a head that I think looks better on the body than the one in the head.
There you go.
And there you go.
So me and patterns keep having headbutting moments. I start a pattern and I go, no, that doesn't make sense. No, why did they write it this way? Then I go,
Right.
and then I found out yesterday that, of course, they're making Chat GPT patterns. That's even more frightening. And I don't know. And I saw, I don't know if people actually get what they're asking, but my gosh, the prices for crocheted animals on Etsy, my chickens
They're
would be about
expensive.
$10 more. And the when you go to like some of the bigger, more complex things, holy
Oh yeah.
shit. There was
Right.
like a dragon, and they wanted over $1,000 for it.
Wow.
I told you you're underpriced.
And I'm like, well, the thing is that dragon took some work. It was
Oh yeah.
definitely a lot of work in that dragon. But man, I'm like, wait a second. Maybe I should work a little bit more on other critters. Maybe I should consider criticizing things some. And
Right.
Well,
I mean, that's
dragons are a big selling point. Now they'll go for $1,000. Maybe make one dragon walk for an hour every day while you're doing the other stuff.
mhm.
See how
And
long it takes you to make a dragon when you do an hour a day.
that'd take me 1,000 days probably. That thing looked crazy. I mean, that was several. That was probably a couple $100 in yarn. That one horse dragon thing,
Hmm.
the one that looked like it was about 3 feet tall.
Yeah. Or do
I'd also
do a
have to buy
small one.
sculpture wire and stuff for things like that. I'd have to buy a few more pieces.
Ew.
But that's kind of cool because that gives me a reason to go to blick.com. And
Right.
Oh yeah.
the problem with
Be
blick.com is
careful
if
with
I have
Blick.
less than $300 to shop on the Blick website, I'm not going to be happy.
Oh no, that's why I said be careful at Blick. Because man, every time I go to Blick, I have a shopping cart that has like $4,000 in it.
Yes.
And then I had to start, save for later or delete
You're
because
my soul animal, I think,
yeah, I don't have the money.
Yeah. It is weird how many things you and I seem to have in common.
You're my sister from another family. What can I say?
It's like
Sister
different
from another
locations,
mister.
different generations, and different places, and
Yeah,
there's so many things that we shared. It's like, wow, because might say the word blick around here, people go, oh. Jimmy knows what blick is. He saw their boxes showing up all the time for a while.
Right.
oh yeah.
Yeah, Blick also packages their stuff. If you're gonna buy
Well,
art
I have
supplies,
an artist friend who makes friends with the local Dick Blick warehouse.
uh-huh,
It's not an open store. There's no store. It's a shipping warehouse. So they have all the
right,
stock there. So they ship it closer for cheaper
right,
shipping.
right,
She made friends with one of the head people at that place.
right.
So we got to go in there and shop. I know. She was like my
That
favorite
looks like
person in the whole
Lombok.
world.
Nope, that's not Lombok. Lombok's there.
On the bed.
Lombok's
Yeah.
on the bed.
There
That
he is.
sweet happy pile there.
Yep, there
That's
he is.
Lombok. I don't know where herself went. She's not where she belongs. She's had a rough time of it.
Oh,
One thing the granddaughter did that was very appreciated by me is she played with the cat that's the big problem.
Hmm.
She chased him around with the kitty tweezer when he tried to get away when he was tired of it.
Nah.
She's like, "No, you still want to play with me." And I'm like, "Oh my God, that poor cat. She's been doing it for 25 minutes. I think he's done." So finally I had to call her off. I'm like, I think he's tired. Give him some
right.
time to rest.
Right.
Uh,
But it's the best thing you can do for a kitten like that is wear them out, and then they don't attack the other cats to try to pick fights because they're tired.
yep.
Right.
And I haven't seen him or heard any crazy cat fights ever since the rest of the day. So it
Oh
worked.
no.
So the
That
whole
works
time
then.
she's on spring break, Grandma's got a new job for her.
Right, right.
Right.
Grandma's gonna have her doing working her butt off this time. Go
Cat
get the
duty for
kitty
the little
teasers
one.
out.
Right?
Here is your job.
I got to spend the day with my almost 4-year-old
Oh wow.
and
I'm
his
sorry.
daddy. His daddy came. I had to laugh because he calls me early this morning and he says, "Mom, are you up for a visit from 1.5 people?" I said, "Yeah." I said, "I gotta take a shower, but I can hustle that." How close are you to leaving? He said, "Pretty close." He said he woke up this morning shaking my face and saying, "Daddy, Daddy, Grandma needs pizza. Daddy, wake up. Grandma needs pizza."
Okay.
Oh, I need that.
Right?
Need that. Gee, I don't get that.
I didn't either. The pizza places aren't even open until about 3 hours from then.
Oh, wow. Well, see, you could have got pizza at Casey's here at least.
Yeah, there's no pizza places open between his house and mine. None.
Not even gas stations, because here gas station pizzas are really
Um,
a common thing.
I don't
Right?
think so. I don't think there's any gas station pizza even,
Oh,
unless he goes way out of the way.
wow. Yeah.
Yeah,
Gas
I mean,
station pizza is crazy.
oh
Crazy.
yeah, we don't. Yeah, I mean,
Crazy.
that's how far out I am. There's not even gas station pizza.
Well, when I was a little girl, pizza was so uncommon that my mother made it. And she made it on a cookie sheet and it came out in a rectangle because that's what she had to make it with. And, you know, then we got a Pizza Hut, and the Pizza Hut had family nights on Wednesdays. And for the longest time, we went out on Wednesdays for pizza.
Uh-huh.
Nice.
Casey's, um, it's gas station pizza. There are people who absolutely love it. Me, I prefer Papa John's pizza. Um, Nick, I went and visited New York City and went to one of the pizzerias that was visited a lot by Law and Order and had one of their pieces of pizza there for lunch once on my trip there. So I've had New York pizza from New York City. And I've had Boardwalk Pizza in New Jersey in Ocean City. I've never had real Detroit pizza in Detroit or anything like that. I haven't been to Chicago, Detroit, that area.
I've been to Chicago and Detroit both and never got pizza.
Oh my.
I know. What's that about?
Did you come here and get barbecue at least?
No,
We tend to be
I've
proud
been
of
in
our
Missouri. I've
barbecue.
been in St. Louis. Never got. Been in Floriston. Never got. Never got.
Kansas City is very proud of its barbecue.
Yeah,
I
I've
love
heard.
barbecue pizza.
Oh,
Barbecue
there we
pizza
go.
is excellent stuff. Take barbecue beef and cover your pizza in it and then top that with cheese. Right.
Yep.
There's a place in Colorado called Mountain Man Pizza. At least there was 20 years ago. And Mountain Man Pizza, they had this one deep dish super pie that if you bought it and ate it all in one sitting, you could get it for free.
Hmm.
It was that thick. It was like a lasagna set on top
Whoa.
of a pizza
Yes.
crust. It was just layers of toppings and cheese, toppings, cheese, toppings, cheese, topping cheese for 4 inches deep. And it was like that big around. And it's like, I swear, if anyone did eat all of that, they probably wouldn't poop for a week. I mean, that kind of cheese intake would just do
Well, see, I'm
terrible
lactose
things.
intolerant, so I would have had the opposite problem. I would not have made it out of the restaurant with that much cheese. I'd have had to take over the bathroom for the next 3 days on that much
Yeah,
cheese.
there was a ton of cheese on that pizza. Just craziness. But I did get taken up there once. My dad came out to visit, so my husband insisted we drive to the closest Mountain Man Pizza and take him. And it was an hour plus drive away. It was not a close place to go, but we took him to Mountain Man Pizza. Ooh, I like dipping my crust in ranch dressing, and my granddaughter actually will take the ranch dressing that comes from Papa John's, and she will pour it on top of her pizza. and then eat it with the ranch dressing all over the top of it.
Yep, that sounds really good.
And I was like, I'd never considered dumping ranch dressing all over the top of a pizza with all of its tomato sauce and everything. That just didn't occur to me.
It's really
you
good.
have Crohn's too? Yeah, that her guy has
Crohn's be the
Crohn's.
worst. Crohn's be the worst.
Yeah, y'all, I would just freaking die if I couldn't eat pizza.
Yeah, I cannot do pizza. No.
Oh,
No.
I can't.
that is like
do
my
it.
favorite
I don't wanna
food.
be fat.
Can't do pork. Like, can't really do much red meat at all. Like fish, chicken.
I would say I do mostly chicken, but
like the little red potatoes, but I can't do like normal Idaho potatoes. Those. Oh my
I
god!
like
How
Yukon
about
Gold.
the Yukon Gold potatoes?
Yeah, I love
Huh?
Yukon Gold.
How about Yukon Gold potatoes? Have you tried those?
I don't know. Usually
Those-
it's the starch. It's like
Well, Yukon
I
Gold
just don't do potatoes very much. I can do like sweet potatoes, like
aren't
those.
as fibrous, I don't think, as
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
the Idaho regular old brown potatoes. Those ones tend to be
Those
a
are
lot
starchy.
more starchy and a lot more. They're stringy inside.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And when you go, that's one of the reasons that red potatoes are a lot of times more popular for some people to make mashed potatoes out of, and do baked potatoes out of the brown ones, because the purple potatoes make a much softer, easier to cook potato, and you don't have the stringiness you might end up with otherwise.
Yep.
I just know when you go to make potato pancakes, you gotta have russets because nothing else has the starch to hold the potato pancake together.
Interesting.
And they don't taste right either. If you use red or Yukon Gold or even
Yeah,
like
I like
Michigan
small
Browns,
potatoes.
Michigan Browns, they don't have enough starch. It's got to be russets.
Yeah.
I was
It's
watching
weird.
Courage the
Yeah,
Cowardly Dog.
rottenness.
Can't really do pasta. Like I can if I do like a really small amount. Like,
Sweetheart, remember when I proposed to you? I'm taking it back.
huh?
Remember when I proposed to you? I'm taking it back.
I can't eat anything, right?
Yeah, I can't cook
Terrible.
for you. I mean, our relationship is half in the tank right there.
There's no
Courage
food.
is hi, dude. What are you doing up here? Courage is free on Tubi right now.
Well, if you know how to cook chicken in like 700 different ways, then
But anyway,
No, I got a 3-way repertoire on chicken. Because other than that, it's pasta and pasta and pasta.
Right. It's not like
and it's all got tomatoes, red sauce, tomato sauce,
well,
tomato
you can do all
paste.
kinds of stuff with chicken. You can boil chicken. You can fry chicken.
So,
fricassee chicken. You can.
anyhow, this is about chicken and pasta. It's like totally on topic in a way. So I'm watching Courage the Cowardly Dog, and she's making these wonderful half moon dumpling looking things, and she's stir frying them, and she offers them to Courage and says that they were chicken dumplings. And I was really shocked because they looked all the more like pierogies to me.
Oh, pierogies are good.
And there's nothing like a really good pierogi sauteed in lots and lots of caramelized onion. And then you get the caramelized onion really good, and then you brown your pierogies in it. And get them all nice and crispy on the outside, and then you serve that all together.
Oh.
And so I'm watching that.
All
and
right.
I'm thinking pierogies, and then she's like, "Eat your chicken dumplings," and I'm like, "That is not how we do chicken and dumplings."
Right.
No, chicken and dumplings is pretty much like a really heavy version of a noodle.
Yeah, and it's a big blob at the top of the boiling pot.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like half noodle, half biscuit.
Right.
Yeah, definitely not pierogi.
Yes, it definitely doesn't look like pierogies. It doesn't look like an actual dumpling, like a
dumpling looks like a cloud.
Because it looked like a filled dumpling, like you'd get in China and everything. It looked like those kinds of dumplings.
No.
Which to me, in middle of nowhere, Kansas, I think it'd be more likely to be a pierogi than a chicken dumpling.
Yep.
But oh god, pierogies are yummy. I need to like figure out how to make my own pierogies because I've seen it done in videos on Facebook. But I'd rather just buy what are they, Mrs. Paul's, I think, who makes the
Yeah.
pierogies. And you just buy
I've made pierogies before, but buying them is so much easier.
yeah,
Much
Japanese
easier.
dumplings and some Chinese dumplings will look like pierogies.
Yep. Now, I do like the Chinese dumplings too that look like pierogies. I love those.
Mm-hmm. Those are good. You get those in wonton soup sometime.
Yeah.
This one came out stripy again.
Oh, that's cool looking.
I don't understand why some are stripy and some aren't. I have not figured that out yet. But this one came back out stripy again, so stripy,
That's
not
cool.
stripy, stripy, not stripy.
Stripy.
Right.
Look
Hi,
at
Ursula.
look at this now. This is crazy. This is the way the
Haha, that's funny.
Wow.
that's where the ball is at the moment. So
who wrote for the prom?
yes, I did not. So you guys can read and I will crochet and nod. I
All
was
right, Robes, is yours
procrastinating
scary
to
at
today and
all?
then I had
Or
grandchildren.
creepy?
No, mine is not scary.
Not creepy?
No, it is not.
As one does.
You want me to go
Does it have
first then
peaches
so
in
they
it?
can have your soothing words and voice last?
Is it a
I
peaches
don't care.
story?
Jared.
Or is that big old doggy taking your spot, Ursula?
Oh, that was not Ursula?
No, the black one's not Ursula. There's a
Oh,
black
no,
doggy.
the big, that's Ursula right there, right?
Yeah, Jimmy's dog is in here, and he's like,
Yeah, but that one's Ursula right there.
yeah, this is Ursula. But the
Okay.
big doggy's in her spot, and she had to walk around him, and they started rolling around like a thing possessed. And she's like, "Yeah, there he goes for the no, he's not gonna go for the food bowl. He's being a good boy."
So yours is spooky, I take it.
A little bit. A little bit. A little creepy. I just don't want to traumatize anybody before bedtime. And if yours is not,
No
then let's
trauma.
put yours last so that they can have something more enjoyable and less spooky before sleep.
Alrighty then.
Okay. And plus, they'd all rather hear your voice last than mine anyway. So, okay, mine I called The Quiet House. Oh, this may have been a mistake. I've got it on the computer. I should have probably put it on the iPad. Okay. Mrs. Calder had lived in the house long enough to know its ordinary sounds. The pipes ticked after a hot shower. The maple branch over the roof dragged across the shingles when the wind turned north. The back step gave a small, hollow thump if someone put their weight on the left edge. A quiet house teaches a person its language, which is why she noticed the apples. She kept a small bowl of them on the counter by the sink. Not because she ate many apples these days. Apples are harder on teeth than they used to be. But because she liked the look of them just sitting there in the hand-carved wooden bowl. Solid things, red and yellow, uncomplicated reminders of her childhood. One morning there were 5 apples. The next morning there were 4. Mrs. Calder stood at the sink with her coffee and studied the bowl for a moment. Then she shrugged. At 78, you learn not to trust your memory with precise inventories of fruit. Still, 2 days later, there were only 3. The cupboard doors began after that. They didn't slam or swing the way doors do in dramatic houses. They simply opened sometimes when she was bent over below them, getting something out of a lower cupboard. A few times she'd stood up and collided with a door hard enough to see stars explode. Once she tasted blood. After that, she made certain to leave them closed. Yet, then, they'd be open another time. Now she'd gotten to the point where she'd stand up slowly, reaching with her hand to make sure there was no door hovering over her head. At first glance, one would think the open cupboard door was an accident. as if someone had taken something small out and meant to shut the door again, but lost interest halfway through. Mrs. Calder closed them each time without a comment, as one does. She'd lived alone for 12 years now. A person in that situation learns to give certain things the benefit of the doubt. The toilet lid came next. One night she woke to the quiet porcelain sound of it settling, not falling, not slamming the way it would if it fell. Settling. The sort of careful sound a person makes when they're trying not to wake someone else up. Mrs. Calder lay still for a while, staring at the dim square of the window. She didn't close the toilet lid at night. Arthritis made unnecessary motions a nuisance in the dark. In the early morning, the lid was down. That was an unpleasant surprise in the dark. She made sure it was open after that. In the morning, it was down again. She considered it briefly, then went to make coffee. The chicks arrived 3 days later. That part was technically her fault. She'd ordered birdseed from a catalog, the good kind, the blend with sunflower hearts and cracked corn. The picture on the website was perfectly clear. When the box arrived on the porch, it was stamped with a bright red label that read Live Animals. Inside the cardboard crate was a warm, shifting cloud of yellow that peeped. 24 baby chicks and a small box of birdseed, the good kind, pictured on the ad. Mrs. Calder lifted them out one by one, placing them in a shallow box lined with newspaper. One climbed onto her thumb and sat there, eyes bright as dropped seeds, entirely confident in her. I don't even own a chicken coop, she told them. The chicks wandered across the paper, making their soft motor-like sounds, scratching at imaginary things, totally unconcerned with their future housing needs. By morning, there were 22. Mrs. Calder counted them twice. The box hadn't tipped. The newspaper hadn't shifted. There weren't any feathers on the floor. Just 22 instead of 24. She poured coffee and sat at the table. After a few minutes, one of the cupboard doors eased open with a soft wooden sigh. Mrs. Calder watched it without moving. Inside the cupboard sat a small saucer she didn't remember putting there. It held a scattering of sunflower seeds. Something moved faintly behind the wall. It wasn't scratching or chewing the way a mouse would do. Just a slow shifting, as if something large were settling its weight. Mrs. Calder finished her coffee and closed the cupboard. By afternoon, there were 21 chicks. This time, the newspaper was folded back slightly along one edge, as if someone had lifted it and then thought better of making a mess. Mrs. Calder smoothed the paper flat again. Well, she said to the kitchen. The cupboard door was already open. At night, she woke to the quiet work of the house. A cupboard easing open, a careful sliding sound along the counter, then the faint shuffle of newspaper. Mrs. Calder lay still beneath the blankets, listening. In the morning, there were 19. She didn't bother counting again after that. By evening, the apple bowl was empty. Mrs. Calder placed a small dish of oatmeal on the counter and turned off the kitchen light before going to bed. Sometime after midnight, she woke again. The cupboard door opened with its patient wooden sigh. Something moved within the walls, slow, deliberate, satisfied. Mrs. Calder listened for a moment. She remembered her husband standing in the basement years ago, shining a flashlight along the deep stone foundation. You don't want to leave food sitting around too long in a house like this, he'd said. Old places get accustomed to it. Mrs. Calder rolled onto her other side. Well, she murmured into the darkness. In the morning, there were 16 chicks left. Mrs. Calder poured her coffee, scattered a little feed into the box, and sat down at the table. The house was very quiet again, satisfied. She took a slow sip and wrote a small reminder on the back of yesterday's envelope. Order more chicks. That's it.
Nice.
Poor chicks.
Right?
Right? Yeah.
Interesting.
I buy that feed for my chickens. It's called Tweety Bird.
Aha.
They make it special for wild bird seed, but chickens love the black oil sunflower seeds.
Yep.
And so you buy the Tweety Bird and you've got your cracked corn and your wheat middlings and your, all your normal scratch stuff, plus they add black sunflower seed to it.
Mm.
Now, someone tried to talk me into going back to regular and just buying a big thing of black sunflower seeds. Yeah, that was Sacred Story. It's writing
Yep.
night, misuse, and reading night.
Shall I read
Yes, it
mine?
was. It was
Yes.
misused.
You should
All right.
read yours.
I called this The Man Who Talked to the Wind. As
Ooh.
one.
As one.
When I was a kid, there was a man on Maple Street who talked to the wind. Not loudly. Not in the wild, arm-waving sort of way that would make a child run home and whisper about ghosts. No, this was quieter. He would sit in the same creaking wooden chair every evening, one boot hooked over the other, a chipped coffee mug resting on the porch railing beside him. Then he would lean back, look out over the yard, and speak softly into the air like he was continuing a conversation that had begun long before anyone else arrived. Sometimes he would pause, as if waiting for an answer, and sometimes he would nod. The adults in town never seemed concerned about it. If anything, they treated it like weather or taxes or the sound of crickets in July. Just one of those things that happened, whether you understood it or not. That's just Harold, my father once said, and I asked about it. He talks to the wind. Harold's porch faced the narrow road that ran through the town like a lazy thought. Not much traffic passed through, just the occasional pickup, a bicycle, or someone walking a dog that stopped to sniff every mailbox along the way. But Harold was always there before sunset. His chair would start its slow creaking, sometimes around the hour when the shadows stretched across the lawns. The wind would move through the maples and pines that lined the street, carrying with it the smell of grass, lake water, someone's distant wood stove. That's when the talking would begin. Not speeches, just fragments. A sentence here, quiet remark there, sometimes a chuckle. Once in a while, he would stop mid-thought and tilt his head slightly, like someone listening to a distant radio station just beginning to come into focus. I never heard the wind answer him, of course, but it did seem to linger on that porch a little longer than anywhere else. The adults never commented much. Some folks talked to their dogs. Some talked to themselves. Harold talked to the wind. Curiosity is a stubborn thing when you're 10 years old. It sits in your chest, a pebble in your shoe. Small, but impossible to ignore. I must have watched Harold for months before I finally worked up the nerve to ask him about it. One evening, I wandered over while he was sitting in his usual spot, the porch boards sighing softly under the slow motion of his rocking chair. The wind was moving through the maple leaves overhead, making that dry, whispering sound they get near the end of summer. Harold noticed me standing there before I said a word. "Well," he said, glancing sideways at me with a small smile. "You gonna keep spying on me from the sidewalk, or are you planning on saying hello?" I stepped onto the porch, suddenly unsure of myself. "Who are you talking to?" I asked. Harold didn't laugh. He didn't look surprised either. Instead, he leaned forward a little, resting his elbows on his knees, and looked out across the yard as if considering the question very seriously. "The wind," he said simply. I frowned. "But it can't hear you." He nodded once slowly. "Maybe not," he said, "but it carries things." He leaned back in his chair again, the wood creaking softly. "And sometimes," he said, "that's enough." I remember standing there for a moment, trying to decide whether that answer made any sense at all. "The wind carries things?" I asked. Harold nodded again slowly and thoughtful, like a man turning a small stone over in his hand. "Sure does," he said. "Carries seeds from one field to the other. Carries the smell of rain before it arrives. Carries the sound of a train 10 miles away if the air is right." He picked up his mug and took a slow sip, then set it back on the railing with the careful patience of someone who had all the time in the world. "Carries words, too," he continued. I looked out across the yard, half expecting to see the wind doing something obvious, like picking up a sentence and flying off with it. "But why talk to it?" I asked. Harold chuckled softly. "Because the wind doesn't interrupt," he said. "Doesn't argue. Doesn't tell you you're wrong. Sometimes a person just needs to say things out loud, so they don't sit so heavy inside." He looked down at me then, eyes kind but steady. "And sometimes," he said quietly, "the wind carries a little of that weight away." I didn't know if that was true, but I remember thinking it sounded like it might be. I didn't think much about Harold after that. When you're young, wisdom often passes by like a slow truck on the road. You notice it for a moment, then your attention drifts to something louder, faster, more interesting. Life has a way of doing that. A few years later, Harold's porch went quiet. The rocking chair disappeared, and someone new moved into the house not long after. The maple trees were still there, still whispering in the wind, but the conversation had stopped. Or so it seemed. Time did what time always does. School turned into work. Small decisions stacked into bigger ones. The road out of town eventually became the road I followed for a long while. Cities are louder than small towns. The wind gets pushed aside by traffic, buildings, and the steady hum of people trying to get somewhere. But every once in a while, usually late at night, I would remember that creaking porch chair and the quiet way Harold leaned back and spoke into the evening air. I would think about what he said. The wind carries things. At the time, I had no idea how true that might turn out to be. It was many years later when I finally understood what Harold meant. Life had done what life does to all of us. A few dreams had worked out, a few hadn't. Some people I loved had drifted away, and a few had gone somewhere farther than drifting. Eventually, I found myself back in town for a while. One evening, I was sitting on my porch, the kind of quiet evening that only seems to exist in small places where the night arrives slowly. The wind was moving through the trees again, just like it used to on Maple Street, carrying the same soft rustle of leaves and distant smells of earth and water. I sat there for a long time without saying much. Then, without really deciding to, I started talking. Not loudly, just a few words at first, then a few more. Thoughts I hadn't said out loud in years found their way into the evening air. Regrets, gratitude, questions that didn't have answers. At some point, I stopped and laughed quietly to myself. Turns out the wind is a pretty patient listener. So I sat there a while and told it everything, as one does.
Oh, lovely.
Thank you.
Beautiful.
Very sweet.
Thank you.
It
And
reminded
yeah,
me
the
of
wind is a
some of
good
the
listener.
lyrical stuff that showed up in Nightmares and Dreamscapes
Hmm.
that King wrote, like My Pretty Pony.
Hmm.
I love My Pretty Pony is one of my favorite of all time, actually. It's the one with the grandfather, and he's watching his grandson play hide and seek, and another cousin that's a bit of a bully cheats, and he gets caught out, and he gets ribbed about it, and he just waits till they get done ribbing, and then they go back to playing the game. He doesn't complain, he doesn't argue, and grandfather's kind of impressed. And then he gives him his pocket watch later on in the story. And there's a ton of Maple Streets, I'm pretty sure.
I think so, yeah.
In fact, the house on Maple Street is a title of another story in that book. But yeah, it's this beautiful vignette about time and how it passes. And in some ways your story was about that, but the reminiscent, thoughtful, it just really it's very sweet.
Yeah.
I need to like go read Sacred since I missed the middle of it listening to my barking dog. Trying to talk her into going outside, and she's like stopped at her half-empty food bowl and gave me a dirty look. And I'm like, oh. Okay. And now I got hearing things for after that. So
yeah, it's only halfway full, Mom. What are you thinking?
yeah, it's like, Mom, something you might fall asleep later, and then I might eat the rest of this, and then what will I do?
Right.
I will have to wait till morning. I am not going to let you do that. You have to treat me better than this, Mother.
Uh-huh.
So I
get my food bowl full.
Yeah. Right. I swear to God, now that there are extra cats in the house, I don't know how much of their food they're eating in the basement because I'm refilling cat food bowls 2 or 3 times a day up here. And I'm like,
They're not eating the other food until after everybody goes to bed because that way they have more.
they're saving it downstairs and just eating up here all day and then eating down there all night.
Yeah.
I could see that happening. I refill at night, though. I refill before I go to bed because of the stalking kitty cat and his behaviors. Because when you have a cat that's pretty much going to, like, wake you up violently every night if you don't give him what he wants, you kinda get used to giving him what he wants.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, it's funny because as 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 some people see dogs eating any of the cat food? No, the cat food is up on top of the kitty gym, so the dog can't get to it. Well, she can when she really wants to, but she's usually not that motivated because she would have to climb onto the couch and then put her back feet on the top of the back of the couch to eat the cat food. And she doesn't like getting on the furniture because she's not a bad girl. She's just a big doggy. And I can't count tonight for some reason. There we go. There's 7, not 8. It's sad when you know how many there should be, and you sit there and you count. You go, wait a second, something.
Right.
My foundation chain was getting counted as a real chain, and it isn't. So
Ah,
that was my problem.
the count should be of 7.
And 7, oh my gosh, it's 9. Only 9.
Oh, my
Yeah,
goodness.
yeah. I have Lombok is like the sweetest boy. He comes home in the afternoon and or early evening, and he will climb into my lap and he will wrap his paws around me and and
Aw.
and just purr, and then he'll stand up and he'll give me kisses, and then he'll just like snuggle up against me and just like sit there, and you can tell he's just so happy to see me. And since, he spends so much time trying to escape the house, it's very nice to have that 25 to 30 minutes of kitty cuddling that he does, where he goes, "No, I really love you. I really, really love you. Now let me back outside because I don't want to live with you anymore.
I really love you.
I really love you. I just hate living here. Don't you know that I'm a cat?" "Oh,
Right.
I'm sorry, advocate.
Hmm.
Hofty is 65 pounds. Last night he jumped up into my bed and decided he needed to be my weighted blanket. I hate when that happens. And I hate when my cats do it. I'm great at being perfectly warm enough when I
Oh,
go
yeah.
to sleep. And if a cat decides that it'd be a great thing to lay on me, I wake up covered in sweat because I have an extra heated blanket on my legs. And it's just like, so frustrating. So I felt bad though. I had meant, in fact, I'd had a story in my brain even. And I was like, okay, I'm going to build this story up and do something with it. And I I got ready to do that, and the granddaughter showed up.
Mhm.
And the granddaughter had to help me crochet, which is always a dangerous thing. But she's been told, look, you can't figure out crocheting yet. Just quit trying. We'll revisit it later. Why don't you try just doing it with a with by hand? Show her
Right.
how to do it, how to chain stitch by hand.
Mm.
And this was a few days ago, and I look over and there's just like this mat of yarn. I mean, it can't be called a knot because it's too loopy, but it certainly isn't something you're going to take apart soon either.
Right.
You're like, oh.
Mm.
So I will sit there and I will like, take and try to get something else for her to get with, and I look over and, like, the other day, she had it wrapped around herself and tangled, and I'm, "What makes you I don't ever remember looking at a ball of yarn and going, "This would be really cool if I just, like, wrapped it all over me." I don't remember ever thinking this.
Hmm.
So it didn't occur to me that she would, 'cause and I'm like, "Here, honey, let me get that off of you." She's like, "But I'm not done." And I'm like, "Oh, no, you're done, honey." It's
Oh,
I love it.
yep, 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 yep. Oh,
Is
yes,
it?
sweetheart, you are done.
You just didn't know you were done, but you're finished. It's okay.
Right? Oh,
So today she like was like knotting stuff together again. And I'm like, I look over and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna have to like rearrange this and put it all back together and let her tear it apart again, I guess. And I saw how she was like trying to like create knots. I'm like, ooh, I know, I'll make her a cat's cradle.
oh,
Hmm.
So I made her one of those things and showed her how to do it. And yeah, she couldn't really figure it out, and she walked off with it. I have no idea where I'm going to find it later, but it will be wrapped around something.
Hmm.
I know. I just hope it doesn't, like, get stuck on an animal somewhere.
right?
Right?
Oops. But, yeah. Um, Miss
But yeah.
Hughes, the truth about small dogs is all dogs are dogs. They don't think about how small they are. They don't look at the world and go, "I am a small dog, and it is a big world." They just go, "I am a dog." They don't it's why I don't understand why people carry small dogs around, because it makes them neurotic, because as far as their brain goes, their feet should be on the ground, and they should be locomoting under their own effort. Getting picked up and carried just weirds them out. It's
Right?
like every dog I've ever seen that gets carried all the time is crazy. Just bonkers, crazy dogs.
Yeah.
And, you know, and the thing is they're dogs. They're still dogs. They don't know that they're not big dogs. It's like my poor little Bantam roosters. My Bantam roosters would sit there and they'd get a big hen to squat for them when they danced, because they were such sweet little gentlemen. And so they jump on top of the hen's back, and they'd realize they could not hold on to the back of her head and mate her because
Hmm.
she was bigger than they were. And they just like turn around in this slow circle on this hen, looking very perplexed because they had
Hmm.
no idea what to do next.
Right?
She was just too big to be mated with. And they were always doing this. For whatever reason, my Americanas they were sweet to the unpopular boys. I'll put them that way. They were sweet to the Bantam roosters, and then I had a rooster that I'm pretty sure was probably legally blind, and they spent all their time with him because he was
Hmm.
a very sweet, protective guy. We had a, red-tailed hawk grab one of my bantams, and she started screeching, and I came running, and he came running, and he got her away from him.
Hmm.
He wasn't sure what he was running to kill, but he was going to go kill whatever was making her screech, you know?
Hmm.
In fact, a few days later, that same hawk came back and attacked him,
Wow.
Oh,
and I had to chase it off of him. It was pecking at his head. Apparently, when they want to kill a big bird, they actually peck its head apart and then they kill it.
oh, wow.
And it attacked him. But it's so funny because I went to look at her to make sure she wasn't injured too badly by the hawk, because he got her to drop it and she ran under the chicken house. So I get under the chicken house and I pull her out and she starts squeaking again and she's really having a fit. And he comes running again because she's squealing. So she's troubled. And I know it. I go, "It's just me." And he stops and he goes back to what he was doing. So he could hear,
Mm-hmm.
you know? And he would chase off anything that was attacking a hen, but he couldn't really tell what he was running to. But I called him Rodney, and I named him after Rodney King because when he was a chick, he was super, super henpecked, and all of his feathers were missing all the time.
Aw.
Because all of the other birds were picking on him because he was so badly nearsighted. And so he was everybody's pick
Poor
on guy. And but he was the sweetest guy because he didn't pick on anybody. He was protective of the hens. And for whatever reason, my Americana hens, they were really, really good with like the Bantam roosters and Rodney. The other girls ignored Rodney because he was obviously not as good. And so it was just really cool that, you know, my Americana hens were sweet to the nerdy guys and the not so nice, not so beloved tough guys.
Uh-huh.
They were sweet to the nice to the roosters that the other girls didn't like very much.
Aw.
And I think that was very sweet of them because a lot of times what happens with your less popular roosters over time is they get driven out to the edges of where they are. And so predators pick off your less popular roosters over time.
Aw, poor things.
Yeah. So unless you have a very well guarded area that nothing's going to get to, your less popular roosters slowly disappear. Though the smarter ones, I mean, Sasquatch was like 6 when the boys accidentally hurt him.
Hmm.
And he was a bantam. He didn't run fast, but he was a smart guy. He had like this path he would do, and he'd always stay near buildings because aerial predators can't get too close to buildings and get you. Yes, there is literally a pecking order.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, there is. Definitely
There is a pecking order. And it can change. It will change over time. My boss rooster stayed boss for as long as he did because when he was the boss rooster, we got guinea fowl, and guineas pick on chickens. But because he was like the top of the pecking order, he apparently pecked them enough when they were little that they never crossed him again. And they were his enforcers. He'd literally look at someone and the guineas would go beat him up for him. It was crazy. He'd walk and he'd have like guineas on either side of him as he'd walk around the house. I mean, around the yard when he was out free ranging around my house, he'd have like guineas on either side of him. He was like a capo, you know? These were his henchmen, and they just beat everybody up. It was like the craziest thing. And he was like 10 before he got taken over by his son, and his son kicked him out and became the top of the flock. So, and then I lost all the roosters finally. And one of I had a hen who I thought didn't look very hen-like her entire life. And she was the most masculine of the birds I had when I moved here. And the black hen I have now, the mutt that's part bantam, she crows. She was also when I moved here. She was also one of the birds that moved here, and she crows still. She doesn't look like a boy, and I know she has laid eggs, but she also crows.
Huh.
Um.
Well, that's definitely interesting.
Mhm.
A hen that crows.
Well, the hen that I thought looked really masculine, if I would have taken a picture of her neck and head, you would have assured me she was a rooster. She had a humongous comb, really big wattles, and usually hens are smaller.
Right.
But as soon as you got to the base of her neck back, she was all hen. It was the weirdest thing. There was not. I mean, her neck feathers can look kind of pointy on a hen anyhow.
Right.
So But there were no long feathers on the back, no long feathers on her tail.
Mm.
She looked like a hen until you got to her head and her neck, and then she looked like a rooster, and I can remember looking at her again and again, going, "My goodness." Did you ever have any black chicken, Neuro D, when you were in China? Because I know they actually eat Sokies there as a delicacy, and they actually have black meat.
And that stuff is expensive if you try to buy it.
Yeah. Yes, intersex can be in non-human animals.
Mhm.
Yeah, some things don't really translate well. It was so funny though. I was looking at Etsy at chicken amigurumi, and one of them wasn't a chicken. It was a very well done, soft stuffed sculpture, including testicles.
Oh, wow.
Yes, yes, an amigurumi cock.
Nobody.
There in the middle of all the chickens. And I'm
Wow,
going,
that's different. That's a different kind of
wow.
cold.
Right?
Jeez.
Oh,
You go to those cockfights, it's a totally different thing.
right?
I'd like to see that happen. Actually, that sounds hysterical.
Brings a whole new idea to cockfight.
It certainly does.
Oh, talk about,
Uh,
oh my God. I'm just sitting here picturing, like, even a well endowed person that'd get awful intimate looking.
right?
Right?
How well could you see the action like 20 feet away, really? I mean, on God.
Right?
But yeah, I could not believe they're in the middle of Etsy. Good night, misuse.
Good night, misuse.
I misuse.
Oh dear. Well, at least she went off in a happy note, right?
Right?
Gotta be glad when you make people happy.
Yes.
Oh.
It's always good to make people happy. Well, not
My
always.
my
Not
granddaughter
always.
has an obsession with cutting things. She loves scissors.
Oh.
And then she likes to take all of my tape and tape it all back together.
Huh. Well,
Not in the same look, she'll like type layers of things. And for a while she was taping it to my refrigerator until I discovered that the goo will stick there after not very much time at all. And then you have to like scrub it all off. And I'm like, okay, we are not taping anything to Grammy's fridge ever again. And Grammy's fridge is not magnetic. So she can't use magnets on. So Grammy's fridge is off limits.
Oh,
And
okay.
storage. Grammy's fridge is off limits. Has to be. So it's weird. I keep forgetting I have a hard drive in my computer or speakers.
okay.
And
That's
I
odd.
keep finding like needles attached to my laptop. And I'll be like,
Oh,
how'd that get there? And then I'll go to pull it and I'll feel a magnet and I'll be like,
Oh, yeah.
oh, duh, of
Right?
course. And then it happens
That's
again
funny.
because I'm just totally not thinking about it.
right?
Um,
Yeah, I bet you would have to be. That would be cool. Asking race cars, yeah. I for some reason figured they do those kind of freehand. I don't know why, but I figured I'd do those with an airbrush freehand. I mean, I guess making the match is probably preferable, but who cares?
right?
Does that make me artistic or lazy? I'm not sure at the moment. Oh, goodness gracious.
Yeah, I'm lazy. I freehand it.
Yeah, I was gonna
Right.
say, just freehand stuff, let it go from there.
Yeah, I do the same thing in the house. I don't tape around the windows when I paint the windowsills. I don't tape it
Yeah,
along the edge of the
well,
ceiling or anything. I just
I
freehand
I
it.
worry about getting paint on the carpet.
I will mask along the carpet, but that's about it.
'Cause I'm afraid I'll, like, have drips, but, like, painting trim and stuff, I don't bother at all with masking for that.
No.
Mm.
Just do it.
Painting around the windows was actually how I learned I was ambidextrous.
Got tired of painting it with one hand? Switched?
Well, you know how the glass comes up tight to the window, or I
Right.
mean to the wood. So I would use my right hand, which is what my dominant hand is now,
Mhm.
to paint the left edge of the windowsill closest to the glass
Hmm.
because I could get a sharper edge. And then I would put it in my left hand to do the right side of
Hmm.
the painting so that I could get, tight on that and not
Right.
touch the glass. And I've done that all my life.
Right.
Right.
And one day I had somebody over who was watching what I was doing, and they said, "How do you do that with your left hand?" And I said, "Like this." They said, "No, how do you do that with your left hand?" And I was like, "What do you mean?" And they said, "My left hand doesn't do anything." And I said, "Well, what are you talking about? Well,
Yeah.
how do you paint like this?" And they showed me this back assward way of finagling their body and their hand and stuff to paint along there. I was like, "Oh my God, that's so much harder." And they were like, "No, using your hand that you don't use for anything else." And I said, "But I do use it for stuff. I didn't know you weren't supposed to, so I didn't know any better."
Yeah, I've done a lot of stuff ambidextrous over the years, and it was funny because and it was weird, I think that this school might have done it on almost on purpose at that point. A lot of us that were on the quote unquote academic arm of our school, college prep side, were all forced into typing class our senior year. And because we had this weird thing where we ran out of things and had to have credits, or we didn't have enough credits to go to school, to be considered full-time students, we had to take credits for things we didn't even need. And so we ended up in typing class. And they all got mad because I typed faster than they did after the second lesson. Because to me, two-handed keyboarding was second nature by then. So I was typing, 70 words a minute by the end of the first month we were doing typing class, and they all hated me.
Uh-huh.
Though I missed the entire week that we learned numbers. I have never learned the proper way to type numbers. I just did it by looking because I had bronchitis and missed that whole week.
There was a whole week about typing numbers.
Yes.
Oh,
So when I got to the point I could teach myself 10 key by touch, I was a very happy person again.
yeah,
I think it's typist.
it is typist.
I've never heard the word typer.
No, it's typist. I remember that because I said typer once, and my typing teacher corrected me
Mhm.
in front of the whole class, and he was such a cutie. But after
Mhm.
he corrected me so cruelly on that, he was not so cute anymore.
Aw.
Like no cuteness.
Yeah, not so cute.
Yeah, advocate. I don't think I could write longhand with my left hand very well. With some practice, I could.
I can write with my left hand, my signature, probably a few other things too, but I don't really try.
I can write my name backwards from right to left.
Yeah, I can't do that.
Yeah, I I
I
had
can't even
a
type it backward.
no, the longhand way. I can I can do
Oh,
that.
that's
What
cool.
happens is you could teach yourself to do it really fast, Sacred,
Maybe.
because yes, you could. Because all you do is when you're teaching yourself to do it is you write your name forwards and then you start in the right and you do it with your
Uh-huh.
eyes, just like you do when you're drawing, and you draw your name backwards.
Ah, yes.
Well, I could probably draw it backward.
And that's how I learned to write it backwards, was I drew it backwards over and over again, and then now I can write it backwards. I can print it upside down without even thinking too hard.
I
But
can't.
writing, if I looked at it, I could definitely do it. As long as I had it right side up to look at, I could make my brain do that.
No, I would have to turn it upside down and copy it. I couldn't do it by looking at it and reverse it. I can't do mirror stuff either. I think it has something to do with not having any depth perception. I think that
Maybe.
goes along with it.
Right.
Could be.
Yeah. That's why I say, I mean, even typing it, I couldn't type it backwards without having to really think about it. It's not something I can just do. It doesn't happen. It doesn't translate that quick. However, after taking calligraphy classes, I can forge anybody's signature.
I would like to do Chinese calligraphy. I even have goat hair brushes for it.
Ooh,
They were recommended also to use with watercolor and ink painting, but they're actually used for calligraphy, for Chinese calligraphy.
yeah. See, that might interest me, except then I'd have to learn Chinese.
Well, see, I've I was kind of picking it up. It's been a couple years since I was playing with it. I can still use Pinyin to write a few things and recognize when I have the right characters, but to write them without having looked them up, I'm not good at the moment.
Mhm.
You know,
Yeah.
I can recognize my favorite characters and go, oh, that one means this and that one means that. Oh, that is kind of cool, Joe. I don't have that kind of visualization. That's a lot of brain thinking.
Right.
Having your handwrite, having a chalkboard in your brain all the time with the words
That
you're
would be
thinking
cool.
showing up.
See, I typed them.
Doing math a lot easier.
It would. It would. Yeah, but no, when I started taking typing class, every time I'd hear people talk or be talking to people, I'd be typing it in my head.
Mm,
And I still do that. I still type words frequently in my head, but I don't write them. So robes, robesque
Oh,
one,
my eyes were dry tonight.
dear heart, tall, dark, and handsome over there in the corner.
yes.
Are you going to provide slips of paper with hand inscriptions for all of us who buy your book?
Ooh,
Sure.
All right.
Want
that's
to see
gonna
it?
be all kinds of things.
You send it to me and I'll sign it and send it back to you.
Oh, hell no, that's expensive. I found that out the hard way. I'll send you a
I,
self-addressed
I
stamped
send everybody
envelope.
some copies, but I can't even afford to buy myself a copy of my own book. So,
Oh, I can tell you how to do that. Do you have a Kindle app?
yeah, yeah.
Okay, you put the Kindle thing when as soon as it's all done and it's all good to go,
Mm,
you put it as a promo for free, and then you can buy it for free.
mm,
Yeah,
mm.
I did a 3-day promo, where it was free on Kindle. I told all you guys, that it was free for on Kindle for that 3 days.
Nice.
And then I put a price on it. Not a big price, but a price. But then I got to get it free on my Kindle because they'll give you a discounted book for yourself. You know, you can buy a discounted version for you,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah.
but they don't discount the Kindle for you.
That's weird.
Yeah, you have to pay full price to buy your own Kindle book.
And it's like, huh?
Yeah,
It's
so
like
the only way you can
costs
get it
them
free for
nothing
yourself.
to really have it there for people to buy. It's like almost all profit for them to do it.
Hmm.
Wow.
Yeah,
It's,
you get a free copy. You can get one free copy, but you can't get a free Kindle copy. You have to pay for the Kindle copy.
Hmm.
Yeah. So I figured out if I gave everybody a free Kindle copy, anybody who wanted it for that 3 days, then I got to get one too.
cool.
Yeah.
That's one way to work it out.
Right.
Yep. Yeah. Then I got one free paperback and one free hard copy, and then I had to pay for the rest of them. But I got, I can pay cheaper for my copies than what other people pay
Right.
because I just have to pay for the publishing. I don't have to pay for my fee.
For English as a second language. Cool.
Oh,
Hmm.
thank you. I was wondering what the hell is ESL?
Hmm.
Thank you. You
No problem.
saved me from having to run to Google.
Yeah. English as a second language was something I saw a lot of when I worked at William and Mary because English as a second language and foreign language teaching kind of cross paths quite a bit.
Oh, yeah, I guess that would. That makes
So,
sense.
um, yeah, that's kind of that's true. I have to like get around to I guess publishing a book. And
Okay, advocates, I would type this, but it's too much. On a Kindle book, the Kindle book is a digital book that you scroll to read, or you can make it so that it flips. Um, for an audio book, they have voices that the reader or the listener chooses what voice they want to hear it in.
yeah,
I do not have any audiobooks signed up to my Amazon stuff because I just don't. I've listened to the audiobooks. I don't like how they sound. If I'm going to do that, then it's going to be on my buy me a coffee page, and then I will read it myself. So it has
Right.
the right
Right.
inflection and all of that. Um, and then that'll be over there for $5 a month. People can get unlimited access to my audiobooks, but I'm not going to let them do it because I don't like how it sounds.
Joe said that's a
Oh,
great
thank you,
way to
Joe.
do. Well,
Thank you, Joe.
you read your stories really well anyhow. I
Hmm.
mean,
Now that I've
it's
learned to slow it down a little bit.
Right.
yeah.
Thank you for that, Robes.
It's a learning thing. You gotta breathe. You gotta remember to just like
Yeah.
be mindful about it.
And you gotta realize that even if you rush through it, it's not gonna get done all that much more quickly.
Well, and
Right.
sadly, my whole thing with trying to hurry through it was because I didn't want to waste anybody's time any more than I absolutely had to.
Right? Yeah.
So I was trying to hurry through so I could get done to let other people do their thing. But then when I realized because of Robes, remember Robest one, when he said people are listening because they want to hear you, so slow down and let them hear you.
Hmm.
Right.
And that was like, oh, that never dawned on me.
Mm.
So thank you, my tall, dark, and handsome.
Of course.
I have a Kenneth as a son.
Good thought, advocate. Hi, Kenneth.
That is not my Kenneth, though. That is someone else's Kenneth.
Somebody
But
else's Kenneth, not your Kenneth?
my Kenneth has always been a Kenny. And it's kind of funny because he's Kenny to everybody. He's Kenny to his friends, even. He is Kenny. He has never been Kenneth to anyone but his mother, who to this day and forever has only always insisted on calling him Kenneth, never Kenny. She did not name him Kenny. She named him Kenneth. He was always supposed to be Kenneth. So after that, she chose much more difficult to change around names for her sons. His brother was named Spencer. I mean, we could go with Spence, but really it's just kind of hard, and most people. And then after that, she went with Jack, which I found very interesting because Jack, I thought, was always a nickname for something.
Yeah, I did too.
And she named him Jack, literally just Jack. So Kenneth was called Kenny and is Kenny to everybody but his mother. And then she made sure the other boys couldn't have anything but the name she gave them. Okay.
Right.
That's kind of just the way things go. You don't, there isn't much of your child you can claim ownership of and any real control of. I mean, you can hope that they learn good things from you, but you don't, they're not little marionettes on strings. You can't control them. And you still feel all this responsibility, though, for anything that's not right in their life. At
Right?
least I do. I constantly go, what could I have done that would have made my son become a college student and graduate from college instead? What could I have done that might have done this or that or the other thing? And I don't know. I'm wondering if it's part of it's the grandmotherhood thing or what. But it's all of a sudden I'm like, I tried my very best. I know more than once I butted my head against doors and windows, wondering why in the world this child was going to keep driving me crazy. But I had no ability to actually ever control what that child was doing in any real meaningful way. They're their own person. I can try to equip them and educate them, but I cannot control them.
Right.
And in a way, I never could.
Right.
I could intervene as they ran into the street or something and grab them by the collar, but in all reality, there was very little that you could do that actually had total control of that little person anytime in their life. They were their mind was doing its thing, and you were just kind of hanging on for dear life sometimes. Maybe I'm just a bad mother.
No. No. My youngest one, my mother always wanted a Chad Michael. And I couldn't do that to a kid. He was a soap opera actor.
Okay.
Couldn't do that to a kid. So I named my youngest one Michael, but then I had to come up with a middle name. So I used my favorite uncle's middle or his first name, Dominic.
Oh, neat.
Remember the commercial? I don't know if you guys are old enough. It was a little kid, and the commercial was, I think it was for Life cereal. Like, give
Hey,
it to Mikey. Yeah, give it to Mikey. He won't eat it. He hates everything.
Right. Oh, yeah. Definitely remember that one.
Yeah. So I'm in the hospital, and the nurses are calling my little boy Mikey.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, stop that. Don't do that. I don't want this kid to grow up hating everything.
Right.
Well, but Mikey is so cute. Michael's too long. I said, no, 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 no. If you're gonna do something like that, use his middle name and go with Nicky. Call him Nicky.
Right. Okay.
Well, then they started calling him Nicky in the hospital, but I started calling him, well, Nicky at first, I guess, but then it went to Nick. So everybody in the family calls him Nick.
Okay.
And I was someplace with him, and some guy walked up and said, Michael. He turned around, and I looked at him, and I looked at the other guy, and it looked like they knew each other. And I was thinking, Michael.
Hmm.
And then I realized that is his name. And in all the employment papers, it says Michael D,
Mhm.
and it's like, oh. So yeah, everybody he works with calls him Michael
And
or Mike.
he even responds to it.
Yeah, he does. He responds to it like it's a normal thing. And it's like, oh my God.
That's
Probably
awesome.
Michael in school too, you realize.
Yeah, yeah. But I'd never really heard it because,
Right.
yeah, I was like, wow,
Hmm.
huh. It was a
Must be
strange
weird
feeling.
though. I mean, the parent teacher conferences, you didn't, whenever they said, oh, yes, Michael's been doing very well, it never.
No, they said Nick. They said
Oh,
Nick
they did?
because they knew I called him Nick. And he wrote his name on his paper, Nick. So, I mean, they went
Huh.
with Nick.
Right.
I mean, the
Okay, so
principal maybe under a punishment thing would have said
in the
Michael, but
professional world, he went from Nick to Michael, Nick to
yeah,
Michael.
yeah.
And he never could, like, because I mean, usually at work, you could say my name is, because my dad went by his nickname with almost everybody. And his first name was Henry, and he was Bud. As far as I knew, everybody in the world knew him as Bud. Um, you know,
Hmm.
Yeah,
and he was Bud his whole working life, you know, and
yep.
nobody that at work ever called him Henry. As
My
soon as he
dad
was
was
introduced,
Pike.
I'm Bud,
Yeah, my dad was Pike. His name was Isaac, but everybody called him Pike.
right,
Always had.
right,
Huh.
yeah. Keith's dad's name was Ike too.
Was it?
Yep,
Okay.
Isaac Ike.
Well, Ike, yeah, but they called him Pike with a P, like
Oh,
Pike fish.
Pike. I thought you said Ike with
Pike.
like
No,
Pike.
Pike.
No,
Ike with a
that's
P in front, and it
oh
was like,
wow.
yeah.
That's
So I don't know where that came from, but it was hard for me to even think of him as Isaac because that's not what he was called ever. Maybe by his mom way back.
Hmm.
hmm, that's interesting.
Hmm.
They gave her friends gave her 5 names. That doesn't sound very friendly to me.
Right.
So
Yeah,
I
I'm
really
still thinking about that one.
I went I was I was known for having that one pet chicken who rode around in the car and everything else with me. And so my son accidentally got a really bad meatball sub. Somebody was really not very bright, and they took an entire gallon of ketchup and put it in the container for the spaghetti, instead of spaghetti sauce, in these meatballs. And there's nothing like hot boiling ketchup to really make a meal tasty. So I went back and had to get a properly made meatball sub for my son,
Oh,
and they just exchanged it. And I was a little put out that they just exchanged it. I felt that was a little bit unkind,
yeah,
considering that my son was, first of all, traumatized by the
Right?
meatball soup sandwich.
right,
Meatball soup sandwich, my God.
I will never forget the look on his face because he was not expecting that to not be, spaghetti sauce. And he takes this
right.
big bite and it's just hot ketchup.
Well, I went to somebody's house one time and they had goulash. Now, I
Okay.
love goulash.
Right.
The macaroni and hamburger goulash.
Right.
Yeah, they didn't use tomatoes and stuff like I do. They used ketchup.
Ugh,
Yeah, so it was noodles, and it was macaroni, ketchup, and fried hamburger.
yikes! That
Boy, it was
sounds
hard to smile
gross.
around that. It was really hard to smile around that and say, that's nice.
This
That's
is
good.
great. I
Yeah, thank you so much,
thank you.
Julie.
Yes, thank you so
Julie.
much for the yucky. Yay. Yeah. Ah,
Ah,
Well, and I mean, I don't know how many of you on here know my name besides Lisa, Robes, and Julie. How many of you know the name my mother gave me?
I don't know if you
Anybody?
the name I know you by is the name your mother gave you. There is that you could go by your middle name or something, and I wouldn't know.
Oh, that's true. That's true. Well, if you look far enough into the Sacred Storyline stuff, you will find down there that my name is Catherine. That's the name my mother gave me. Sacred Sauce. So, okay, so Sacred Storylines was my business thing to start this. It has a purpose and all that. I didn't realize I would be being called Sacred Storylines
mm,
or Sacred Sauce. That was a complete surprise. But I grew up always being called Kathy. So, I've been called Kathy my whole life.
mm,
But then when I got my massage license, the license that you have to post for the public to see who you are and that you have an actual medical license said Catherine. So all my clients have always called me Catherine. Julie
mm.
calls me Catherine, but my family call me Kathy. So it's you know Catherine, Kathy. My grandma called me Katie. My grandpa called me Blackfoot Charlie or Suze. And then you guys call me Sacred or Storylines or Sacred Storylines
More sacred sauce.
or Sacred Sauce. So that's 9. So,
All right.
Gee, I'm so lucky. I've been Lisa and Wuzzy.
oh, and then mom and grandma. So
Oh yeah,
11.
I do have those two.
Yeah,
I'd say there's more title than name.
right.
Um,
But that's all they call me. My grandkids, my little ones don't even know I have a name. I'm grandma.
true.
Yeah, what's your name? What's my name, grandma? Same here, Neuro. Same here. So I'm really kind of curious about Advocate for Spirit. What was her first name too? I missed something. I gotta scroll up. Hang on, folks. I gotta catch up here.
Do the scroll.
I'm doing the scroll. Advocate changed her whole name legally,
Mhm.
so everybody had to learn what to call her. And then she says, "Hi, Julie. Not me. I know you didn't change your name to not me." And her first name was something too, but it made her list. I don't know what that was. Was it Saucy Sacred? Sacred Sauce? Was that your first name? I mean, I'm not seeing the name here.
Yeah, a lot of
That
us
would be
don't
different, right? My
don't.
name's
So just
Right?
kind of go back and forth about sharing names too.
Oh,
Kathleen.
Kathleen.
Oh,
oh, okay.
I was always a little jealous that I wasn't Kathleen because that always sounded to me to be a cooler name than Catherine.
Hmm,
I mean, I learned to like Catherine when I got older, but when I was a kid, I would have preferred Kathleen. Kathleen
right.
sounded friendlier. Catherine sounded snobby. Oh, well, yeah, William Wood Wallingford the Third. I can't possibly beat that.
Yeah, no, no,
Well,
that's
maybe I can because we had a family here in Grand Rapids that owned, I forget the name of the company. It'll come to me, but not right this minute. And it was the Lear family. And they actually had a little girl that they named Crystal Shanda.
hmm,
Yeah,
Crystal
Crystal Shanda
Standard.
Lear.
huh,
Oh God,
Right?
that's as bad as Ophelia Butts.
Oh, yeah, that's not good. Or Kelly Green. Yeah, there's just, William Wood Wallingford the Third. That is a lot of vertical lines.
When I was a little girl, for some reason, um, there was this time in my life where whatever a person's name was said to me, that was their name. So, like, if I
Mhm.
was told somebody was named Sue, she was Sue. If I was told
Right?
someone was named Patty, her name was Patty. And
hmm,
I do not know why. But there were these two, both of them very heavy set, actually, guys that worked for Fish and Wildlife, Fish and Game, that would stop by our house and visit
hmm,
at random times. And their names were Joe Capina and Al Petter. And they always used their whole names for some reason when they talked about these men, unlike everyone else. So until I was like in third grade, I did not realize that his name was Joe Capina. I thought he was Joe Capina. He was Joe Capina. It was
Right?
all one name to me. And in
Right?
third grade for me, someone goes, "Oh, that's a first name and last name."
Right?
When it finally dawned on me, I felt like the biggest idiot for not having recognized it years before that. But he was never ever just Joe. I never ever heard him called Joe. It was Joe Capina, always. I
Yep.
don't
Yep.
know why. So,
Probably
for the
because there was more
longest
than one Joe.
could be. Well, there was the Joe from Joe's Garage, but I don't remember what Joe's last name was. And
It
there
probably
was
wasn't
this
Capina, so that's why they differentiated.
could be. Now there was a guy that worked at Joe's Garage, and I don't know why my dad had so many friends. My goodness. There were always
Mhm.
people coming over to our house, and I don't see people at my house ever. So I'm doing something wrong 'cause
right.
Oh, when I used to provide free coffee and ashtrays and let people smoke in my house was
my
full
dad
of
didn't
people
tolerate
day
smoking.
and night.
I
And I said, y'all got to smoke outside.
Mhm.
I have not had company since.
Well, I think it was homemade desserts and, coffee, probably, actually, that was the thing. Um, but, yeah, there were always people who just stop by and have
Oh, yeah.
cookies or cake or whatever, and, granted, I'm never making that stuff either because I can't eat it if I'm not feeding it to someone else, and no one ever comes over, so it's like this whole little circle that
Yeah.
no one comes
I,
over, don't make dessert, nobody comes over, don't make no one comes
yeah.
over, don't make dessert,
Right.
don't make dessert, no one comes. Yeah,
I
that's
honestly don't know how my husband stayed with me all these years. Um,
uh-huh,
it was commonplace for people to show up in the middle of the freaking night, one,
right.
2, 3 o'clock in the morning, and come into our bedroom
Oh my god.
and shake me awake and say, "Get up, I've made coffee."
Get up, I've made coffee.
Yeah,
Huh,
I need to talk. Get up, I've made coffee. And my husband would wake up and say hi to whoever it was and go back to sleep. But
okay.
I didn't have to go to
Your
work.
friends knew this was okay with you?
It was never discussed.
Well, then why did you let it happen a second time?
Well, because they needed to talk.
So
Oh,
it was okay with
okay.
you.
Well, I
Right.
didn't know I could say no.
And you say I'm too nice.
No, I could say no. Okay. Well, huh.
And you say I'm
Well,
too
after
nice.
30
Yeah.
years, I learned I could say no, and I did. But, I didn't know it for the first 30 years.
Oh my. Okay. Well,
I get lectures about how I'm too nice and this.
right? Right? What is going on?
I have a feeling that you we need to have a couple more discussions.
Right? What's going on right now?
Well, but I had to learn, I can say no.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
Yes.
None of them come around at all anymore. So I guess
So
I
you
said no really well.
Right.
Oh,
I
you want to hear
I
a funny
I
story,
bet
though?
you was you the one that was telling no, it was probably someone else. You were not the one that was telling me that, only 2 people still remember who you are
Oh, that was probably me.
and so no one else can come around to see you anymore.
No, because they honestly don't remember who I am or where I live.
Right.
My friends are old, like me. Hi,
So so
Kimmy.
so maybe that's the only reason they don't come in and do the whole copy and everything anymore.
No, because they remembered me back when they quit doing the coffee in the middle of the night. Hi, Jimmy.
Okay, Jimmy, name 2 friends of mine who stop by regularly that remember me.
Well,
2 friends that stop by regularly that remember me. 2.
do we want to talk about Stalker
What stalker?
Butch?
Oh god.
Oh, she's got us. She never told us about the stalker, Jimmy. Do tell.
Right?
I'll let her tell it. She knows it better than I do.
I don't know. She hasn't done it yet.
See, I don't think I remember it. They said that they said that, they don't know. Because I haven't told them, maybe I don't know.
Right?
I didn't consider him a stalker.
Right.
No.
Oh.
So, so I'm just
Before we get into the stalker, can I tell you something really quick about the one friend I've got who does still know my name and knows where I live?
sure. When's the last time they had you up for coffee?
It's been a while. Her cousin called me two days ago and told me she was in the hospital in a really rough way to go, and her kids were too distraught to think to call me, so she did.
Aw, I'm sorry.
And so she called me this morning to give me an update, and she said she's doing much better. She's actually got the breathing apparatus stuff off her face, and she's breathing on her own, and yada yada. But
Nice.
2 nights ago, night before last, whatever they gave her made her hallucinate.
Oh no.
And so she's calling her kids at 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, and they had been awake and at the hospital for like 3 days. They were sound asleep. They didn't hear the phone. Nobody answered her.
Uh-huh.
She ended up calling the police because she didn't know where she was, but she couldn't get out. And she figured they were trying to kill her. So the police showed up at the ICU, and I thought, oh my God, I can't imagine that happening to anybody else. And all I could think of was, I got a picture of the whole SWAT team thing, and them sneaking through the hospital corridors with their guns drawn, you know,
Hey, Jimmy, can you
terrifying the
imagine
poor.
anybody hallucinating and calling the police because they couldn't get out of wherever they were being held captive?
Do I need to retell the entire story?
Well, I didn't do that.
Or do I need to, though?
What story?
So, when mom's kidneys were failing the first time, me and my stepfather took her to the hospital, and we were told that she was going to get transported that night or that day.
That day, there was supposed to be a wait.
Yeah, she was only supposed to be there for like a couple extra hours. Okay? And I go home, or I drop my stepdad off. I go home, and it's like 6, 7 o'clock at night, and I get a phone call from mom going, I think they forgot about me. And I'm sitting here going, Mom, you're not thinking right. They probably didn't forget about you. They're probably still setting up your room. And then all of a sudden, when was it, like 10 o'clock at night, you're finally getting transported up to the city?
I don't know.
It was late at night when she finally got transported up to the city. And I called the hospital the next day to check in on my mom. And I hear that she has ripped out 5 of her IVs since showing up because she's needing to go home because I think it was because of your animals. It wasn't because of Keith or me or anybody, but you needed to go home and take care of your animals. And then I go and visit her the next day, and they tell me that she exploded one of her veins because she kept pulling the IVs out. And I walk in there, she goes, I think the FBI is after you. Because of a moonshining operation. Because she was watching moonshiners on the damn TV.
That's when it started talking to me. Once the TV started talking to me, it was a bad thing. Now she started in the ER right before the floor show.
Right?
I tell you, the musical number that they did, the ER staff was pretty darn good. The dancing was excellent, very well choreographed.
Well, they have a lot of side skills that we don't know about.
They hadn't fed me. They literally, it was during COVID, and they had requested an ambulance for me, and I'm not sure what happened from that point. And I started hallucinating, and then I realized it was dark, and I tried to escape from the ER. That time was the most lucid of the IV removals. It seemed like the more crazy I got, the easier it was to remove them, which is yeah. But the first time I looked down, I'm like, look, okay, so it's a little tiny actual catheter when they're done. I'm like, okay, so I can't pull it back. I gotta follow the flow, and then I just put direct pressure on, and we're done. So I took out my IV and got dressed and tried to go home, and that created part of my obsession after that with leaving, and that obsession lasted for a good day and a half. And I was constantly trying to escape. I even remember looking out the window, and I was on the 7th floor and going, I don't think I can make the sheets long enough to do that.
Right?
I even found out, I checked, and hey, the window does open. And I was like, oh, that's a bit of a drop. Joe's ER hallucination, beautiful birds had come in and made nests and eggs were hatching. It was miraculous. Made
She had a pretty hallucination.
Yeah. I had one where the time got held by the shadows, and another where one of the really evil nurses was crocheting my hair into rope and was tying me to my bed with it.
Oh.
That's not okay.
No, my worst one was when the pterodactyls were pooping on my antique dining room suit, and my kids would not clean the poop off of it.
Oh,
I would have really struggled
I
with exactly
know.
how to convince you I was, because I wouldn't know where I was wiping up to be sure that it was where I thought it was.
Pointed straight at it and said, "It's right there. Wipe it off before it eats the finish." And they're like, "Mom, there's nothing there." And I said, "It is. I can see it. Wipe it off." And they wouldn't. They kept telling me it wasn't there, but I could see it. I knew it was there.
It was still steaming and everything. How
Right?
could it not?
It was. It does. Pterodactyl poop steams and it drips. It went all down the front of the buffet. Oh my God, it was awful.
Ah.
Oh my god. Ah,
But at least there was no guns and no bulletproof vests involved in that.
like what the shit?
No SWAT teams were needed.
Right?
Although they might have been able to get rid of the damn pterodactyl that was pooping all over my furniture.
You know,
That would be nice, right?
when I was a young
Right?
person and was in one of my first all by myself apartments, I had the misfortune of inviting over a friend for dinner in the movie and having her come and having a pretty good time. And having her leave, I walk her to my door, and then I close my door because I'm not going to babysit her and walk the whole way out, And a few seconds later, she comes back in and she's white as a sheep.
Oh
And
my.
she says, "I'm sorry, but the SWAT guy in your bush told me to come back inside."
Oh,
He
yeah.
never came to visit again.
Wow. Okay.
I can't say as I blame her.
Right?
I didn't
Wow.
think I was in a bad neighborhood or anything. I'd never seen the police there before.
Oh my
Apparently,
god.
the next building over, some idiot had come out and shot off his shotgun into the air, and that's an immediate SWAT team call out. And he was just drunk, and it was just one shotgun shell, but apparently you can't do that in the middle of Williamsburg, Virginia without getting in trouble. And I hadn't even noticed because I guess our movie was up high enough, and so they had been called out for that shotgun shell thing, and
Wow.
my poor guest was there just as everybody was negotiating with him behaving.
All right.
Right?
It was the same apartment complex where I went up once to visit because I worked with my boss sometimes worked weekends at this apartment complex. It was her sister's apartment complex. And I went up to say hi to her, and she said, "Be careful walking your dog." She said, "My husband just killed a copperhead back behind the pool." And just before that, I had walked my dog back there maybe half an hour earlier, and there'd been this snake there, but my dog was on the leash, and the snake noticed us, and it started rearing up a little. And I just tucked quietly and pulled the dog as close to me as I could and kept walking as I moved away and kept an eye on it. And we got out of each other's striking distance, and it calmed down, and we kept walking.
Right?
And I'd never seen a copperhead.
Wow.
So I did not know that snake that was scaring me and hissing at me was poisonous and could have been a dangerous encounter.
Right?
Right?
I've never seen a copperhead. Yeah, I've never seen a copperhead. I would not have any clue what it looks like.
Yeah. Some of them look almost pink. I mean,
now, seeing a pink snake, I would walk right up and say, "Oh, look at how pretty." I'd want a close-up shot. I mean, that's not right. Nature shouldn't do that.
darn it! How dare you probably like yes, as one does.
Yeah, as one does, right? Well, there you go, Lisa. That story just wrote itself for next week.
That's good because I didn't get one written. So
there you go. You got
I
one
taught my
now.
son how to pick up snakes. I was one of those mommies.
Right.
Taught him to pick up snakes and throw footballs and ride. I guess he didn't get to learn to ride dirt bike from me. He didn't have.
I've never been able to throw a football worth of crap. It goes off to the wampus on me.
Really?
Uh-huh.
You had lessons and everything?
Yeah, I've never been able to get the spin right. It's just like I can't back up a trailer either.
Oh, maybe it's the depth perception thing. Okay.
No, it's just it doesn't work. My husband had decided when I was in my 50s that this was ridiculous because all of the family at some point or another needed me to be able to back up a trailer, and I couldn't.
Oh, okay.
He's like, "You are gonna learn." I was like, "Okay, I'm game." I mean, I would like to know.
Right.
So I put a little tiny trailer on the back of our John Deere lawnmower tractor.
Okay.
And he pulled it outside of the garage, and he said, "Okay." He said, "Now all you gotta do is just turn around, watch behind you, just back it straight in. Don't turn the wheel or anything, just back it straight in. This is easy. Once you master that, then we're gonna do turning." No, it went to the right, jackknifed. He said, "I told you don't turn anything." I said, "I didn't turn anything." He said, "Pull it straight again." So I did. He said, "Now we're going to do this again. Get the wheel straight." Okay. Just a little bit of gas. We're going to go backward. And I jackknifed the other way. He's like, "What the hell are you doing?" So then he said, "All right." He said, "Since you want to turn it, let's turn it." He said, "Pull around, turn it to the right." He said, "Now we're going to back it up the same way, that same direction."
You had a lousy teacher. Can I say that yet?
Right.
Sure. I mean, but he tried everything. Finally, he said, "Oh my God." He said, "Let me back the damn thing up. Lesson's over. I'm going to back it back into the garage." He couldn't get it to back up either. It wouldn't back up straight after that for him. It was all kittywampus. He said, "Well, how did you break it?" I said, "You stood right beside me. You watched everything. You told me blow by blow what to do. I did what you said. This is the result. I do not know how to say it any more clearly.
Right.
So when
This is my life."
I was first learning motorcycle, my dad teaching me how to deal with a manual transmission. He says, you let out your clutch, you give it gas, and it goes.
Okay.
Not quite that simple.
No, it isn't. But that's what he told me. And so he's like, you're not giving it gas fast enough. And then if you pop a wheelie starting, you fail your test.
Right.
So so there was never a good. So I have mastered all of motorcycle except for getting the darn thing to go without pushing off. And if you don't, and you fail if you push off. And so my dad says, you seem to have a block around me. I don't understand what your problem is. So I'm going to have my friend B take you down. He said, maybe if you don't know the person as well, you won't get as nervous. So before we go for the test, my dad's friend says, are you having trouble with any part of this? And I'm like, well, I've been trying like crazy. Dad says you just let out the clutch and give it gas and it goes. And every time I do that, I either stall or I end up in a wheelie. And he goes, well, are you listening for the clutch point? And I'm like, what's a clutch point? And he goes, okay. And he says, okay, we're going to start the motorcycle. So I start the motorcycle. He goes, okay, now I want you to really, 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 really slowly let out the clutch. He says, and you're going to hear the engine tempo change. And when that happens, you're at the clutch point. That is when you give it gas.
Mm.
And if you ease gas into it there, as you let out the clutch point, it will smoothly start.
Yep.
And I tried it, and I was done.
Nice.
I could do it.
Yep.
Cool.
My father's just let out the clutch, give it gas, and it goes.
No.
That's not enough for me to understand what
Right.
it was doing, you know?
Well, you see, my husband taught me how to drive a stick shift and how to drive a motorcycle. He's
Right.
an excellent teacher. He just couldn't teach me how to back up a trailer. I still can't do it. I'm 70 years old. I have never successfully backed up a trailer ever.
You know, what part of what he could have, should have done, depending on the trailer, because the really short tongue trailers will bounce, one bounce, and they'll be crooked. If they don't have the tongue ratio correct, they're bitch to try to back up.
My phone is like literally about to die.
Yeah, it's late. It's
gotta
late.
go.
So
Yeah, it is.
it is.
Oh, we love you, Robes.
Yeah.
I love you guys too. I got it. It's like
Bye, Rose.
2%.
Should I just say bye, or should I finish what I was saying?
No, finish what you were saying. Don't beef out.
If I fall off, well,
Okay.
you know.
Bye-bye.
If you fall off, we love you.
So if you would have had a nice yard, he should have set you there and said, play with it. Because if you had enough space, you could have just pulled it forward and then backed it this way and backed it that way. You would have figured out how to make it turn.
No, this was years of trying with different trailers, different vehicles. And he finally figured, okay, we'll do the tractor because he can, be right beside me, walking and seeing what I'm doing. And the trailer is little. It's not daunting. It's not something I can't see over. So I didn't have to look around it. I could see behind it. Oof. And he figured this was the last ditch. There was nothing left. I mean, if I couldn't back this up, I can't back up.
Okay.
And that was 15 years ago, and I'm 70 now, and I still have never successfully backed up a vehicle with a trailer on it.
It was so funny because
I'm great at shifting.
Stock trailer, and it was a 3 diagonal. It was its max in horses. You could put 3 diagonal horses in it. And we get to the pasture where we're picking up the mama and the baby, and my husband says, okay, you back it in, I'll guide you. And I said, I've never backed up a trailer before. He said, yeah, you'll be fine. And he said, I'll be back there. And I'm like looking back there, and I'm like, that is like an 8-foot gate. How close does he want me to get this? And then I backed it back there and backed it into that 8-foot gate with less than a foot on either side. I had to go through the trailer to get back into the barn area.
Wow.
And went, I have no idea how I did that.
I'm impressed. I'm impressed.
I'm like, holy shit, how'd I get that here?
I just had to back up a 2-foot wide by 3-foot long trailer into a garage. I mean, the whole center of the garage was empty. I just had to back it in. 3 foot, a 3-foot drive straight back. Couldn't do that. So yeah, I am very impressed that you could do that.
Well, the thing is, with being able to do that, the little tiny lawnmower towing trailer I got here, when I back it up, it's too easy to flip over on you.
Okay.
And it was funny because when I was going to do my best, I'd been even practicing when I went to get hay because I wanted to be as manly as possible because there's this whole women can't back up trailers thing. And when I pulled up to turn around, the guy took one look at that trailer. He said, do us all a favor, unhook it here and we'll push it in. He didn't even let me try. He just took one look at that trailer and said, "Oh no, that trailer's gonna suck. Forget it. Just
And see,
leave it here."
my daughter bought a big travel trailer.
Mhm.
Huge thing. She could back that puppy up anywhere,
Mhm.
in between anything. And I can't back up anything anywhere. My life depends on it. I'm gonna die. We all know this. It is just a given.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I will tell you from personal experience, there are better trailers than others. My husband's handmade trailer was the worst. I I I
Oh.
I came up with an entirely new language made almost entirely of various curse words by the time I was done with that thing. I mean, if you breathed wrong, it was suddenly jackknifed. You could do nothing right with this trailer attached to you. The best thing was to drive up alongside something and make it get onto the trailer because backing to whatever it was not gonna happen.
Oh, welcome to my world. But it's every trailer for me.
So, but I will tell you, different trailers are a lot harder. What is a handmaid's trailer?
Ah,
I'm not sure which one it is. Well, we have gone very late,
oh,
even later for you.
yeah,
Um,
but it's been fun.
it has.
I did get a nap, which is how I'm still here and still got a little sparkle. I can still smile.
One of the really sweet things that's happening right now, um, is Jimmy's one cat has decided that Lombok's little kitty toy with the wooden balls that you can chase around in a circle has a couple sets of wooden balls on different parts and a scratching post on one point, and he's found it, and it's, like, one of his new favorite things to visit and smack around occasionally, and it's nice to see somebody enjoying it because Lombok, like, decided it wasn't worth playing with about a year ago.
Aha.
It's like, "Oh, look, someone likes it again."
Yay. That's always
Yes.
nice. That feels good.
Yeah, it does. A hyperactive child destroyed the tasseled thing that hung off of it, and I never figured out how to get another one put there. I bet you I could, like, order a new top and unbolt the top and put a different top on that has a new one hanging.
Oh, that could be. That
But
could be.
I think when that got destroyed is when Lombok lost interest in it.
Oh,
When it didn't have the additional thing to play with, it
yeah,
just kinda like, yeah, it used to be fun, but now it's not as fun." So,
right. And we're going to be snippy. If it's not as fun, we're not going to do it at all.
it's especially for a cat, so but I'm gonna say goodnight,
All right. Good night. Good night, everybody. This was
and
fun. Thank you for listening.
see you all tomorrow night. Bye-bye.
Yeah. Bye bye.